Hi. Oh my goodness, guys, welcome to Shush.
I'm watching a
I'm
movie.
watching a movie. We always try to say that at the same time, and you know what? We don't do it.
We're 0 for the 70
Oh, for 70. Have we done 70 episodes?
ish.
Who knew? We should have celebrated at 50.
We should have done a lot of things. This podcast is held together by tape and glue. Like, what do you want?
We're still pretty good. Okay, guys, so this is Shem watching a movie. If you don't know who we are, I'm Alessandra Vite, it says.
I'm Alex Palenko, but I'm Alex.
Should we say what the premise of our podcast is?
Yeah, normally we watch a movie and talk along to it, but like kind of like a shitty commentary track where one of us yells about
Not
socialism.
shitty. Alex, so negative.
I don't know. I'm bringing
Like
a weird energy.
a joyful, bubbly, pleasant commentary track that
Like
can be
that's
shitty.
also a lie. Like 10 minutes in any episode is one of us screaming in anger.
Oh man, guys. Anyways, as I was saying, so we watch a movie. The original conceit of the show was we would watch a movie that was like my favorite movie or one of Alex's favorite movies, and the other person hadn't seen it. Hence why we talk through it and why we watch the movie itself. Now, tonight we're not going to do that because YouTube will shut us down if we watch a movie.
5 minutes in.
They'll find us and then they'll kill one of us,
and
they won't say which one.
Yeah, they're ruthless.
Yeah. That's okay. And so tonight we're actually going to do something that's going to probably make us actually a little bit sad.
Yeah, the eulogy for movie theaters.
Yeah. We're talking about like literal experiences we've had inside of a physical movie theater.
Yeah.
This is going to be rough because I don't really. A lot of experiences, like Alex apparently has had a lot of sexual intercourse inside of a movie theater, which is obscene to me.
No, once we tried.
Can I ask you something, Alex?
Yeah.
Like insertion sex, like penis into a vagina?
Yeah, it started
in the seats?
Yeah, so
that's awful. You're awful. Should we just get into it? Okay, we're getting into it. And before Alex starts, we're going to have some special guests. So they'll come as we continue to talk. But Alex, please tell me this really unfortunate story.
My girlfriend at the time, we didn't have air conditioning, and we went to go watch a movie in the summer just to get air conditioning. And the only thing they're really playing was Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Okay.
Which isn't good. It just objectively is not a good movie.
No, that's impossible. But Pirates of the Caribbean 2 was bad. So by the time we got to 4.
Well, our thought process was just like, you know what? They were bad, but as far as enjoying air conditioning goes, like I'm sure Johnny Depp can suspend me through that.
And Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem are in that one.
Yeah, and trust me, they don't bring a lot of charisma either. And
shocking though.
Have you seen it?
No, so my Pirates of the Caribbean 2 story is I went on a date. I thought it was a date. I was like in grade 12, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was kind of like a nerd and we were both kind of shy about it. And midway through that movie, there'd been 3 times that like a windmill was used as some kind of weapon, like a windmill rolled. And anyways, long story short is I turned to him and I was like, this fucking sucks. And he loved it. And I don't think, and he like he said he was going to walk me home and then he didn't. And I wonder if it's because it was so ruthless. Anyway, so you were having sex.
So we started like getting like just like bored and like there was no one in the theater. Like it was a full theater, empty in the middle of summer. Like people kept leaving, and it ended up being like just us in the theater. Mm-hmm. And started like doing hand stuff and being like, all right, let's try this. And it's like, let's just fucking try it. Let's just fucking go for it.
Can I ask you something though, Alex? Was it empty or were there some people?
No, it was. It started with some people, but about an hour in, it was full empty. And we had the back row, and we're like, let's try this. And
this is some pre-COVID shit.
Yeah, this is also like, and let's just try this. And we couldn't quite get the physicality working. Mm-hmm. And then like Pirates of the Caribbean, I can't remember exactly what happened, but something so stupid happened on screen. And then we're just like, this isn't happening. And it was so bad that it killed any like horny sex drive we had.
Were you standing or were you doing it in the chair?
I was sitting on the chair, and then she would be like sitting facing me, and I was leaning back.
But the chairs aren't wide. There's no.
Yes, I said it wasn't working.
Because there's nowhere for your legs to go unless she did a full spread eagle, which honestly would be very impressive, but not pleasurable.
Yeah, it just wasn't a good time, and we're gonna blame Pirates of the Caribbean and also chairs that don't let you fuck. But your date thing reminded me of that it's probably the most heinous I've been in a movie theater.
Uh-huh.
This is truly, like, I'm genuinely ashamed of what happened here.
Okay.
Where I went on a date with a girl to a movie theater, and we went and saw the new Godzilla at the time, just to like be like, yeah, we're horny, gonna hook up. And she was like, and she was like kind of
Like the Bryan Cranston Godzilla or the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. You were four.
the Charlie Day's in it somewhere.
Yeah, I think this is the Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, that feels
because
right.
I was like the one, not the one with the Puff Daddy song.
No.
Did it. That's such a good song, though. Bring that song back.
And she was like, oh, let's get like fucked up and watch Godzilla. I was like, love that idea. And I show up with a backpack of like beers. Like, oh, I got beer. And she's like, great, I have cocaine. And I was like, cocaine's not a movie drug. Like, cocaine is like, what are you trying to pull here? And it was at the Carlton.
Fucking cocaine.
I like, no one wants to like do a line and then sit quietly. Like,
sit down. I have less sexual experiences in movie theaters because I strike out at movies, I guess, because like
thank you, Sam. I'm sorry. I realized
my sister in the other room. Chair. Wow. Okay. So yeah, because like I have memories of that Pirates of the Caribbean memory, and then I have another memory once again of seeing a sequel to a popular franchise movie. I saw Iron Man 2 on a date when I was in college. And like we had made out. I thought this guy liked me. And we went to this movie, but I couldn't get over the fact that Robert Downey Jr. from here up looks just like my mom. And I wouldn't stop talking about it.
Oh, you killed the sexual vibe that way?
Well, I couldn't because I thought that movie was particularly terrible, but also kind of entertaining. Yeah. And I would just turn to him and he would say something, go, I don't know what he would say. And I'd be like, I'm sorry. Like, I wish I could show you a picture of my mom right now because he looks so much like her. But this is something that only I see. And I remember after that night going to my parents and being like, look at Robert Downey Jr. and no one sees it. But if I could do a side-by-side comparison, I just think he looks a lot like my mother. And then, yeah, nothing happens. Nothing happened.
The end of the cocaine story is particularly heinous, but you did remind me of one time I went on a date with a girl to the Lego movie, and she kept trying to make out with me, but I was really enjoying the movie. So I was like, yeah, like cool. And also it's like, it was a mid-afternoon Lego movie. So it's just sold out with children. I'm like, can we not? God. And I felt weird.
Oh God, that's awful. Please.
But the end of this cocaine story is that then we started doing drugs and drinking. And then obviously we're two people on cocaine. So we were not quiet. And the other couple, there's the Carlton, there was just us, another couple in the movie theater a few rows up, turned around and was like, can you shut up? And then I was like, oh, sorry. And as I was saying, oh, sorry, she said, you shut the fuck up, and then overhanded a beer at him. And I was like, we gotta go. And then I just like ran with her out as she's like cussing this guy out.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, and then we left, and I was like, oh, we shouldn't have done that. Like,
no, that sounds like they were in the wrong, to be honest.
We were in the wrong.
Wait, hold on. Was I not following? You threw the beer?
No, she threw the beer.
Oh, your girlfriend threw the bear.
The date, I would definitely not call her girlfriend.
That was a deal breaker. I'm grateful that was a deal breaker for you.
Yeah. I was like, I need to stop.
Oh, you just went from 0 to 100 and threw a fucking beer? That's great.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what? I respect it. See, I have a lot of drug stories and drunk stories at the movies, more so than sexual stories.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the Sketchersons, we all decided to go see Mordecai as like a bonding experience, and everyone got immensely fucked up. Like people were on shrooms, people were doing like MDMA. I was like really drunk and really high, and we just went, and there was one other couple in the theater, but they left within 5 minutes because we lost our fucking shit. And like Jill was doing like cartwheels out front. At one point, Andy stood up on the chairs and was like, shut up, I like this movie. It was a really good time.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then
I saw the Goldfinch, like a 10 p.m. showing of the Goldfinch.
That's too late.
And it was me and Molson had a bad day and bought a bunch of pitchers of beer, and then we looked around and there's other couples each holding like 2 pitchers of beer, just getting destroyed to the Goldfinch. Like just like it was
Why was that your thought process?
I don't we knew it was going to be bad. I think it's a bunch of people who looked like me and Molson who have 100% read the book and enjoyed it. Like, we have to see this movie. It's gonna be
bad.
This is not something you can, one, adapt, and two, too, like it looks bad
Ansel
already.
Elgort is my enemy. I really think he's a charmless person.
But it was
There,
just
I said it.
I agree. It was a room of drunk couples laughing and heckling the Goldfinch, which is a
Um,
weird movie to pull apart.
I went last year around this time, actually.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Sam, we went to see Last Christmas
Oh
at the
yeah.
Carlton, and we were the only ones like in the Carlton
That's the
cinema
best
itself.
movie experiences.
And we were pretty drunk, like we brought booze and stuff. And I Instagram storied the movie, and then people were mad saying like, "Don't spoil it." And I was like, "Excuse me, if you want to see this movie, someone would be here. This is a flop of all flops. It's a Christmas movie, and it's empty on like a Thursday night before Christmas." And that was a really good time. I recommend that movie. You know the story of that movie, that they released the preview and people guessed the twist immediately from the preview.
Yeah.
They were like, "He's dead." And then they were like, "Oh no." And then
Did they re-edit it?
Sorry?
Did they re-edit out like the twist?
No, he's dead.
Okay.
It's just really obvious because he appears out of nowhere. He's always wearing the same clothes. It's not like The Sixth Sense where like Bruce Willis, you know, they really like mixed up his clothing, but they were clever because he was always wearing the same items of clothing, but in like a different way. Yeah. Anyways, really respect to M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like most of our stories are about going to see an empty movie. I did but one where I saw a full movie was when I saw Hereditary in a sold out movie theater. When the big twist happens in the first act, where the head gets.
I can't imagine. They no spoilies. That one seems like movies that people actually want to watch.
You're right.
No one wants to watch Last Christmas.
Yeah, but like the whole theater went silent. But Roger brought a friend, Carl. I'm going to shout out because he hated this movie, and he stands up in the theater and goes, "This movie is emotional sabotage," and the audience just turned to look at him.
That would really freak me out.
It was and he was sitting right next to me, and I was like, "Oh no, everyone's looking at me."
Were you super high?
No, I was sober. I was excited to see the movie.
Oh man, because like I saw Trainwreck on the second anniversary when I was dating Ben, and we ate a brownie. But I told him I don't like edibles. I was like, I don't like edibles. I never have a good time on them. But he tried to explain to me that he went and saw a Mad Max Fury Road 4D where like the chair moves. And he said that he had like just a very small amount of the edible and that we would have a good time because a small amount of the edible is a really good time. So I was like, okay, fuck. I'll have just the tiniest bit. And right as the movie's starting, just a mini like a explosion inside my body is what I feel. And it's like, okay, I'm going to be extremely high. And I was very grateful that we were watching a movie because I knew for a fact somewhere in my heart that everyone was looking ahead and no one was looking at me. But most of the movie was maybe like, and that was awful and scary.
One last thing before we bring the guest in. One time I went and saw Avengers with Callum, and we got high before, and we went and saw the IMAX thing in a sold out theater, and like the credits are playing, and I started freaking out, and Callum was freaking out. We both didn't want the other person to know we're freaking out, but I just lean over and I go, "What if the screen falls over?" And then the movie started, and then the two of us just wide-eyed, terrified, watched Avengers. Anyway, let's bring our first guest.
Okay, I will say that was the thing that got me and Ben through how high we were was we looked at each other and we went, "We're both really high. Let's just have a good night." And then we took 4 hours to walk home. That should have taken 40 minutes. Anyways, yeah. So we have a great guest. Our first guest is an avid listener of the show, and we love him. And he's such a wonderful audience member. And I've also seen him do improv. He's a wonderful improviser as well. I don't think we didn't ask if we should promo anything for him.
I mean, he
cooks nice dinners and posts them on Instagram. Our first guest is Brian Edwards. Brian Edwards, hi.
Hey guys. I've got nothing to promote, so don't feel bad.
Nothing to promote? Okay, good.
We're good.
Good.
And I saw Last Christmas, I think it was last year when that was out. I did not know the twist going in, and I was really upset about it.
Were you surprised?
I was mad.
Were you surprised at all?
I think I kind of was like feeling it out as it was ramping up, and I just got really mad at it when it happened.
Yeah. It's garbage, and it's shocking because Emma Thompson wrote Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, it was
like really she adapted such dense text and then couldn't write a simple romantic comedy about I don't know. I don't know what it was
and
about.
like the overlapping parallels with the song really irritated me.
I don't understand why that song inspired a movie.
So
I don't
Jordan.
understand. Anyways, Brian, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
We're asking people if they could share any stories like about like fun movie going experiences. But also, I'd love to know, like, do you enjoy our podcast? Like, that really excites me.
I love listening to the podcast. I usually will comment along to each of you individually for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, never together.
Like, hey, that was really funny, or like, I agree. Usually, I'm agreeing with Alex with a lot of things, which
normally I get a message of like your insane thought is correct, and I'm like, thank you, Brian. Like it is.
Brian never agrees with things that I say.
We agree with a lot of our feelings.
Wild.
We agree a lot of our feelings about men in the movies.
About
men in movies.
Wow. I mean, like, God forbid I watch a movie without just really deducing how sexually viable I feel that the actor is. What is that about? Great. Yeah. Well, thank you. And yeah. Well, anyways, Brian, what's a fun movie going experience that you've had?
Quite a lot. Well, the one that just popped in my head right before we were doing this was I was on a date. It was a setup. I did not know it was going to be a date when I agreed to go to the movies with my friends. And I was like, wait, there's two people here. He also dates men. Figured it out. We went to see Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge?
You're not going to be happy with this. This is 100% true. During the movie, it was like nearing the climax, and spoiler alert, she's dying in his arms. First of all, the gun floating around the stage as if it was some sort of danger. I'm like, he's telling the story in flashback. He's going to live. There's no tension here. But then I was just irritated by that. I was irritated by the music for some reason.
I forgot.
A correct reason.
He is telling the story in flashback, and we're worried that he's going to get shot. I forgot.
I was so mad at that moment, too. It was a packed theater. I believe it was at the Carlton, similar with the Last Wish. Packed theater. And as she's dying in his arms and telling him the story and just going on and on, I literally, this is 100% true, yelled out in a crowded movie theater, quit telling your stupid story about the stupid Moulin Rouge and just die already. Die! I got touched very angrily, deservedly so, but I do not regret that.
Because if I, let's say grade 6, 7 me was sitting next to you, I'd be like, how dare you? I'm having an out-of-body experience right now.
Oh, I hate it so much.
I love that so much. I get that. Watching it as an adult, listen, okay, do you guys feel like movies were made for us when we were younger? And like you watch them now and you're like, how did adults like this?
Yes.
Like, how did adults like American Beauty? Like as a kid, I thought it was the best movie I had ever seen. But you know, I was a kid.
Yeah.
Anyways.
An adult sits there watching like someone monologue about a plastic bag in the wind. Is like, fuck yeah, I love this. This is
and then
great.
Katy Perry's like, I'm gonna write the intro of the song.
What an absurd. I love anytime I've been in a movie theater and someone yells something out, I've never been disappointed because it's always like
I love it. I love it.
It's always your experience.
That's what I go to a movie for. I don't get that shit on HBO Max. I need to go sit in the room.
I love when people are in it, man. Like
when I went to see one of the Paranormal Activity movies, it was the third one, and it's like getting into the climax, like their main guys like trying to find his kids, and he's going and he opens a door into like, I think it was like a gazebo or something at his mother-in-law's, and you saw like the circle of old people naked, like a cult. I yelled out in the very quiet theater, "Oh God, no!"
I never saw Paranormal Activity. That's how it ends.
That's the third one.
Oh, the third one. I was like in their house. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's why I feel like Get Out was such a huge blockbuster because everyone was like, we are gonna talk at this movie.
I saw it
wonderful.
I saw it sold out Carlton, and when the cop shows up and you don't know who's in it is like truly the most like, because it's sold out Carlton theater, so it's not a white theater. and the just as soon as you see a cop, everyone's like, fuck, like people are throwing shit at the screen, like just like, how dare you? And then it's like his friend, and then they're like, boom, like the
it was perfect.
That's the clench and then unclench.
Yeah, I think that might have been the last time I was actually like, I did not know where that story was going.
Yeah, I mean,
you're being conditioned to expect the downer ending, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, even when they're like bidding on people at like the auction, I was like, oh, what are they talking about? Like at that point, I still didn't know what was happening.
The credits are rolling, and you're just like, so who did it? Like,
I'm really like, I think it's why I like romantic comedies, because there's not that many people in them, and like stuff happens, but not a lot of stuff. But like, I cannot watch mob movies, cop movies, like anything with like several, like at the first time I saw The Godfather, at the very end, when they're killing a bunch of people, I go, I don't know who any of these people are and what it means to the story. And I've seen that movie a lot. Anyways, wonderful. Oh man, theaters, guys. Okay, Brian, when you go back to, like, what's the one thing you miss about going into a movie theater?
God, I just miss like that feeling of when you got your snacks and you're sitting down and the movie's about to start. And like, especially when you like see a cool trailer like of a movie you didn't know was coming out.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, there's a new Star Wars. Like, how would you not know what Star Wars is coming out anymore? But that general idea.
Now they have like an Apple style like announcement once a year. It's so weird.
I went and saw the movie Shoplifters, a foreign movie on New Year's Day, like at the Yonge and Eglinton like arty theaters, like rich people cinema, and it was like kind of like half full in this major thing. And before the trailers, they played a commercial for Loblaws, but it's like looks like a trailer. It's like like you hear like a poem about like getting older.
I know what you're talking about. I fucking hate that.
It's like a poem about getting older and being like, it's the thing of like, imagine everything went perfectly and then you lived your whole life and then you could and then got a little harder and you got all your goals and then you got a little harder until you're where you are today and you're ready for it and like blah, blah. It's this long poem, and at the very end it's just like Loblaws, eat fresh. And then the whole audience went, what the fuck? Like just aggressively angry, being like, because like it like we're like, that is pretentious enough to be a movie trailer that would play before Shoplifters. But it's an audience of rich, hungover.
You know what? That's something that I don't miss from movie theaters is they started to bleed commercials into the trailers. It was like, so I remember when there were no commercials, and then it's like, okay, now there's commercials, and now there's commercials, trailer, commercial. Yeah. And that was the era that was happening right as pandemic started, and that was such a fucking bummer.
I remember seeing, I think you guys talked about it on the podcast, seeing the trailer for Devil in theaters a couple times. Every single time I saw it, it's like everyone's like into it until the credit, produced by M. Night Shyamalan, and everyone just bursts out laughing.
That's so brutal for him.
Times that happened in theaters.
Shyamalan, that guy. Apparently he took out an ad in his school yearbook saying that he was going to be the most successful student. He like did a full page ad being like best director.
I respect how stupid that is.
You know what? He what is it? He's Icarus. He flew too close to the sun. And now he has to like pretend, but now he has his own Marvel universe where like fucking James McAvoy does stuff. I don't know. Anyways.
Brian, we're gonna have to
thank you so much.
We're gonna have to let you go. We got another guest, but thank you again for doing it and telling your little story. And
thank you for listening.
Yeah,
thank you.
You've been a fan since the beginning, and it's so nice. And this is our happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year,
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Brian.
Great show.
Yeah, see you later. Bye
bye. And as one leaves, another joins. I'm just gonna roll into the next one. He's
gonna roll into the next one.
Unless you have something to say. We're good. He's been on the podcast before. I should have asked him what he wants to promote. He did a really cool documentary that you can look for.
You don't know what it's called?
I can't remember. I'm sorry. It's like
I also can't remember.
Put your hands together for Jonas Charlie.
Yay, Jonas!
Yeah.
I am gay.
That's what it's
I
about. That's
am
what it's
gay.
about. I am gay.
I knew it had gay in it somewhere, and I didn't want to guess 'cause it would look horrible.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on the National Film Board of Canada's YouTube page, so
Ooh.
definitely check it out there. It's on my website at johnnestrell.com.
Oh, can you say
it's
that again?
everywhere.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably because I have Disney Plus on another tab.
You gotta turn off
Yeah.
that Disney Plus for 10 minutes, baby.
Yeah, I had
Gotta turn off that
running.
Cars.
Dang
so
it! Like I do have
John is-
Cars. It's so sad. Maybe I shouldn't show
No
this, but
fucking way.
we're thickly interactive.
I
By
have
the way,
to
the
say,
Disney Plus is yours.
AJ, it's mine, right? Yeah. One of my favorite guests in terms of the variety of movies. So like usually we ask people to bring on a couple of movies, and AJ's choices were like, okay, well, I'd like to do either Cars or 12 Years a Slave.
Which is as far away as two movies could possibly be.
They both have a
gosh,
McQueen
It was
in
a
it.
hard choice.
Anyways,
Both have
AJ,
McQueen.
thank you so much for being on a guest again. We're so thrilled having you. Do
Very
you
happy
have
to be
any
here.
particular? Thank you. Do you have any particular movie theater going experiences that you would like to share?
Yes, I do. Yes, it is Cars related. Oh God, it's
This is the only movie you've
Um,
seen. Wait, are the only two movies you've ever
it
seen are
really-
12 Years a Slave and Cars?
And you're like,
no.
movies
I saw another
rule.
movie.
Yeah.
I saw another movie.
Variety and Vroom Vroom.
I love a good room, but like just yesterday I watched Cries and Whispers, my favorite Bergman movie, and I thought
Oh.
it was
No cars.
beautiful, all about no cars, so I had to immediately follow it up with Cars 3 just to cleanse the palate. And
Cars 3. Oh, God, AJ.
you know, what's lovely about the Cars universe is that there are Swedish cars, so Bergman is canon in the Cars universe, and there's a Bergman car out there, which means there's a Cars, Cries, and Whispers out there, and I really want to see that, but...
What type of car is the Bergman car? Is it like an old jalopy? Is it like just like a
It's
weird
black and
gold
it's that,
golf
right?
car? Yeah. Actually,
for sure.
it's a black Dutch car with no seats and it's uncomfortable.
No seats, no windows.
It just has this old smell. It just has the oldest smell. That's Bergman to me.
I love it.
But yeah,
Wonderful.
Oh, my lips are so dry. Oh, okay. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Movie theater experience. This was a defining movie theater experience of my life, my young life. I had been living in the suburbs just east of Toronto, doing a newspaper route that was grueling. It was physical labor, and the worst part is there's no guaranteed pay. You have to knock on each neighbor's door every 3 weeks and be like, "Hi, it's me, the newspaper carrier. I've been serving you for the past 3 weeks."
What kind of
No.
pyramid scheme part-time job did you get into?
Saying it out loud now, it sounds a little
Why
like
did they
slavery.
do that to you?
oh my God, did you ever get paid? That feels like a way to get $4.
I did get paid. I'd make like $80 every 3 weeks, and the thing is, the newspaper takes a cut. They take a cut, and if you don't make any money, they still take
Who
a cut.
got you this job? Like communism? Like
no.
what is
This
this?
isn't a job. This is someone had a large amount of newspapers to deliver and then was like, you know what I could do and keep all the money for myself.
Yeah. You got the okay.
Yeah,
All
that's,
right.
Actually,
So you got a job
damn
that like
so hard.
Oliver from Oliver would have.
that was never the part of the story I took the time to digest. And now, upon reflection, what I was doing was not particularly safe or beneficial, but that's what my job was.
Yeah, you could have also, I don't know, gotten abducted. I was not allowed to do door to door. Like when we sold chocolate or whatever for things, as you know, when you're a kid, they really want you to sell chocolate to people. And my dad wouldn't let me go door to door because he said they were going to kidnap me. And I was like, they'll just get the idea immediately. Like they'll be like, finally, the kids come to me.
I've been spending all this time looking for kids and kids could just come to me. Like,
Hold
That's
on.
the real service that we deliver. We deliver.
Okay, so what happened in a theater?
So I was getting really fed up with this job. But my mom was like pressuring me to keep doing it. I signed up for this job. Do it. Do your job. Be your job. And I was like, no, really bad ice storm. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this job. We got into a pretty big fight over it and my responsibilities. And I was like, that's it. I've had it up to here with you, Mom. And that's not verbatim if that wasn't already clear. And I took my bike and I left the house, committing my first runaway from home ever, and the only one really. I took it like a bag, like one outfit, and the $80 I made from going door to door the last 3 weeks, and I went biking through Ajax. The place I ended up landing was the Cineplex, because in a suburb like Ajax, there's nowhere else to go. So I was in the Cineplex. I just needed to pass some time to make them miss me or whatever. I wasn't very prepared for this kind of thing. And the only movie showing at that time, which was about 11 o'clock at night, was Cars 2. So I decided to,
Who's that for at 11 at night? I mean, for little boys running away from home. I like that you made a bindle too, right? Like you had.
I made a bindle. I hitchhiked. I jumped on the train, the GO train. I got off, and I was at the Cineplex. I was watching Cars 2, and I was so sad. And it was this it's like a joyful, loud spy cars movie.
It's like the point of the movie is Larry the Cable Guy's character is basically the main character through the movie. Like,
are you fucking kidding me?
It's made her.
They made Cars worse.
They made Cars 2. It's Mater's James Bond movie, and for the 2 or 3 families that were there, they were loving it. But I was in tears because I was digesting the first major. I thought I might never go home again.
Yeah, you were experiencing both like freedom but also deep sorrow all at the same time.
Which, to be fair, is the ethos of the Cars franchise. That is the continued theme.
I was going to say, like, I like to imagine a family there and being like, you know what? Pixar always keeps their brand, which is light, fun family comedy and deep existential sadness. And yes, the deep existential sadness wasn't present in that movie, but Pixar did hire that small child to just cry.
But Adonis,
it's meditative.
Who else was in this theater at 11 o'clock at night watching a children's movie? This is a terrifying, like the clown from It. Like, it's a very terrifying.
In a town like Ajax, there are very few things to do. So.
Okay.
The
people
Cineplex,
are rolling. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like Pickering. There's no mall. That's the only way it's not like Pickering, by the way.
I just find it to be an obscene time for that movie to play.
It was indeed ridiculous. I cried a lot, and I walked out of Cars 2, picked up the payphone, because I didn't have a cell phone at the time, and begged for my mom to please pick me up, save me from this horrendous time. And she did, brought me back home. Got one of the last beatings I've been proud to experience in my life, and that is the end of the story.
We thought the stories were going to be like getting a hand job in a popcorn bag.
No. This is a Caribbean tale, okay? I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know how you could... I can't. I don't understand the sense it takes to be able to do sex things in a Cineplex audience.
We didn't lie. To be honest, I've struck out in more theaters than I've struck in.
That's fair.
But that was a beautiful, like a Caribbean tale. Like, but then you're the little mouse Feifel. That was AJ. That story had literally everything.
Yeah. It had exploitation of small children.
Yeah,
that's most of it. That's actually most of the story.
Can we report these people that you worked for? It really upsets me.
You know, I'm gonna look into that news advertiser. I don't think I asked enough questions at the time. And
well, you were a child. They were the ones that should have been asking questions.
That's the truth. That is the truth. Well, I was like 15 when this happened, so I should say I was a bit too old for this whole ordeal.
Anyway, sorry, that really got me. So 15 is still, you're a full baby.
I'd say so.
I think so. Yeah, fun fact about Jonas is that when he was on the podcast, we realized that that you're the same age as all the kids I babysat.
Yep.
And it just made me take a cold, hard look in the mirror. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Anyways, AJ, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for popping in.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Wanted to wish them Happy New Year. Okay.
I can't wait to see y'all on my Spotify Wrapped again in 2021. I'll see you there.
Another avid listener of the podcast.
Would love it. Would love it. All right.
See you.
Bye bye. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Let's bring in our
That was
next.
joyful.
That I love that story. It was,
I love that story. This has been good. It's been good. We've had someone who was desecrated Moulin Rouge and someone who had a growing experience during Cars 2.
Let's bring in our next story and guest. I've known him forever. He co-hosts The Disaster. He does a bunch of stuff.
He's been on the show.
He's been on the show too.
He showed me Jackass 2.
Yeah, which you enjoyed. Get wild for Philippe Demas.
Get wild.
Ew.
Hi. This
Hey.
is fun. This is having all my friends. And quite frankly, I like to think fans of the show.
Philippe has never listened.
Philippe, you never listen, not even to your own?
I've listened to some.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, sorry, before Philippe goes on, it's important that everyone knows that me and Philippe saw Hugh Jackman in concert.
That's every
Honestly,
time we bring him up.
life-changing experience.
Life-changing experience. And we made a vow before COVID started. He was supposed to be on Broadway in The Music Man with Sutton Foster. And we made a vow, like we were already saving money to go to New York.
Go see Hugh
To
Jackman
see it.
again.
But you know what? It's the first thing that's coming back to Broadway when Broadway comes back.
Oh, I'll be there.
Oh.
And there better be a tap dance sequence sets to AC/DC like there was in his show.
Yeah. Alex, I guess it's one of those things you had to be there.
Or we could just tell you about it every week for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's what I get. Anytime the two of you are together, it's just, by the way, to the third person watching, Hugh Jackman was a delight and tap danced to AC/DC.
Because I knew I would enjoy it. Like I knew I would like it, but I didn't know how much I would love it. I dropped $75 on merchandise.
It was great. That sweater is one of my favorite sweaters. It's so
I wear that
comfy.
too almost every day.
Yeah, it's everyone watching. Highly recommend seeing Hugh Jackman in any medium. Go put on X2. Have yourself a time.
You know what? You go see someone like you with Ashley Judd. It is a failed romantic comedy, and he is adorable. Anyways, Philippe, hello.
Hi.
Well, what's a movie going experience that you had that was interesting and notable and fun?
Oh man, I've got a few. I'm only going to say one though. Maybe no. I'll just say one. Okay, so when was it? Last year, maybe? When did Detective Pikachu come out? Last year.
Yeah. I was there for this.
Yes. And I tell this story all the time. So a few of us go see Detective Pikachu, because of course. And while there, Detective Pikachu's been out for a while at this point. Yeah. It's been out at least a month. So
Sure.
It is a scattered audience in the theater. There's
Here's what I said. It was a late showing, and I think the audience was mostly people like us, being like, "I want to see this movie, but I don't want to see it with kids around."
Yeah.
Now, was Pikachu a detective in it? Like, does he solve a crime?
Yeah. It's based off like a video game in Japan where it's like a crime-solving game where you.
And
play as
Ryan
Pikachu.
Reynolds is the voice of Pikachu?
Yes.
Not bad in it.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
You know what? Valid. Okay.
Have not seen the movie. Anyways, continue.
Quite good. Anywho, so scattered theater. There's like our group is probably like 20% of the theater, and then very early on into the movie walks in what I can only describe as the most stoned man on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And it was as if, I'm assuming he was at home, took far too many edibles, and then went, I can't just sit around. Let me go see a movie, and just walks to the theater. Because he walks in, and then instead of sitting down, is just like standing in that like little like pit section at the front, just standing there watching the movie. And then he starts heckling the movie in a way that I heckle Monday Night Football, just like yelling at characters for their choices and stuff like that.
It's like, don't do that. And it's like, cool. And then, you know what I'm doing? It's like, hey man, just sit down. There's tons of seats. And he's like, no, it's fine. And it's like, it's not.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his good spot.
So he leaves for a bit, then he comes back, some more heckling, leaves for a bit, comes back. One of the times when he comes back, we see like one of the other guests of the theater get up and walk out, clearly going to go say something to someone. And then at this point, he's like taking a seat, like front and center, just vibing. And in walks a few security guards. And then like they're like, or not security guards. In walks an usher, and the usher's like, "You have to get out." And then he's like, "No," blah blah blah. Argues with the usher for a bit, and then the usher like walks out, and then they pause the movie.
Yeah, they pause the movie. The lights go up. Security guards come in and escalate that situation.
Yeah. The security guards start to walk in. The guy sees the security guards walking in. They yell something at him. He stands up and then runs out the maintenance exit at the front, like where you see like the fire exit sign.
Oh my god!
He runs out. 3 security guards start chasing him. 2 run through the door. 1, like out of a scene out of a children's cartoon at 8 in the morning on a Friday, stops before running through the door, turns to the screen, looks up, sees the movie pause, looks back and goes, "No, you did not ruin Detective Pikachu!" And then continues to chase him.
And then like
What?
the which like kind of paused for a bit. Then the usher comes in and is like, "Hey, do you want us to rewind the movie for you?" And everyone's like, "No, like, we're
We
adults,
get it.
we're adults
No.
watching Detective Pikachu. Like, it's fine, just hit play." And like they say, just hit play. And it's like fine. It plays for like 5 more minutes, and then you start hearing desperate banging on the maintenance exit. And then like someone gets up casually and kind of like opens it, and it's all the security guards holding the guy because they couldn't get out that way and had to go back through.
Oh
but the
my
door is
God.
one way, and just kind of like drag him back out. And I really enjoy Detective Pikachu. And then
That's
other
great.
people are like, it really drags in the middle. And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
No, man, not the way I saw it. But my question is, what? Oh, because he was talking at the movie. Because I was
He-
like,
he
what's the
punched the
big
wall
deal
at
with
one
him?
point.
Just he punched the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would edibles make? He wasn't on.
I don't think it was
That
on
couldn't have
edibles.
been-
I think it was on something
No,
else.
I just said that because he was clearly
Yeah, he was
very
on, like,
intoxicated on something. Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't like
That's a bummer.
stand straight. He was like, so at first I was like, oh, maybe he's like, like something. But then he's like, he couldn't stand straight and was like yelling at people. I'm like, oh, that's just a very intoxicated man. That's
Yeah, that's not good. That's not fun.
It was very fun. It was hilarious. And it proved my thing of that security guards and cops just escalate every situation. I think that man would have casually left if you like kind of talked him into it, but they just like came in with like, "I'll fucking end you," and then like, he just
What would have been worse? Like you're super high.
Yeah.
Things are when you're high and you're in a theater, like things are super heightened because it's dark and like you feel like everyone's looking at you, and so like, you bring in a bunch of people, like whatever. Anyways, delightful story. Delightful story. I guess I'll watch Detective Pikachu.
honestly, it's fun.
It's a
Nah,
fun
I won't
time.
ever see it.
The Pokemon are very cute.
How cute.
They look fuzzy.
Baby Yoda cute? Because I won't watch The Mandalorian, but I've watched the smash cut of all of Baby Yoda scenes.
About
Honestly,
that,
yeah, pretty on par for Baby Yoda.
I love Baby Yoda's look, but I don't like his culture.
It's like you really made that more racist.
Anyways, beautiful. Also, Philippe, the movie we've seen a movie together too. We saw Cats together.
Yeah, we brought on the apocalypse by saying Cats.
Well,
I was hungover and I fixed that hangover by getting drunk again at Cats.
Well,
and boy, did I not
before-
enjoy it.
before we discuss this, why don't we bring in our next guest, who we also saw Cats with, and who also made me this mask.
Yeah.
There a lot. Philippe, you want to stick around? Let's bring in Alice Moran.
Ew.
Hi, Alice.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you know, drinking.
Good. It's so nice to see you. So, guys, last time.
Sorry?
Oh, I was gonna say last time this year we were all watching Cats.
Yeah.
Last
but
time
I was
this
just
year, no
gonna
way.
say
Last
that
year
is
this
that is how paper routes work. You do have to go collect unless you're doing the community paper route. So
That's how all paper routes work.
if you're doing like the Oakville Leader and it's a community paper route, then no. But if you're doing like the Toronto Star, then yes. And it's a fucking nightmare. 'Cause you're like 12 and they're like, ooh, I don't have money today. And you're like, I'm 12 and this is coming out of my pocket.
Oh man.
Oh, what a fucking scam! And then on top of it, kids get abducted while doing the paper.
Okay. I posted this in the chat where y'all were talking, and I just got to this before we get to cats. So when I was doing my paper route, and I was like, this guy is like always driving down the street behind me when I'm doing my paper route, and I do my paper route at like 6 in the morning on a Sunday. And so then one day, like, he like asked me for directions, and I give him directions, and then he like follows me for like 6 blocks. Like, I'm gonna die. I don't know what to do. So I get to like my very last house, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna know that I'm out of papers. Like, I'm fucked here. He knows this is the last house, and he's gonna fucking abduct me. So I get to the door, and I open it because I'm just like, I hope this is unlocked, and it was. And it was a family all in their PJs, like sitting eating cereal. And I was like, hi, I'm your paper girl. Some guy's following me, and I'm pretending this is my house. Can I stand here for a minute? And they're like, do you want a scone?
What a fucking journey, man.
Yeah, and then it hit me so hard the next time I collected on them.
Was it a good scone?
As they should. Unfortunately, that is a story that I too have, where I pretended to go. I was being followed by someone. When I went to a uniform school in grade 7 and 8, I got often followed by men. A lot. The grossest things that ever happened to me in my life happened when I was wearing a uniform when I was in grade 7. And let me tell you, I was not a cute grade 7. You know what I'm saying? Anyways,
I was not cute in grade 7 either. And I would get followed home all the time from swim practice.
Just a child.
Like, yeah, and then would be like, can I drive you home? I'm like, I'm not supposed to drive with standards. I'm like, well, you shouldn't walk alone because you should get raped. Get in my car. And I'm like,
oh, God. And on that note,
I feel like that's a higher probability.
On that note, last year, this time, we were watching Cats.
Yeah. True blast.
The place to get as drunk and as stoned that early on a fucking Sunday, I want to say.
Yeah.
It was an early show. It was like a 1 o'clock. We made it. Why were we all hungover? I feel like we were all hungover as a team.
Was it the Christmas party the night before?
Yeah, we were at a party. We were all drinking that night before because I remember agreeing to this drunk and then the next day being like, oh, fuck, am I going to Cats?
Yeah, we were not well.
I remember sweating so much in that movie. Just sweating out booze as like the worst cat you've ever seen dances. I
feel like we were all like the first time they started singing, we all laughed so hard.
Oh yeah.
Like
the first moment.
There was like that couple that was there to seriously see Cats.
Yes.
Who was serious that us and several other people in the theater were just there to make fun of it.
For a little bit of context, we did take up 2 rows of a movie theater of people.
We were the audience.
Yeah.
There was like another friend group, I'm going to say at least 2 other groups of people, and then that couple that just kept turning around and be like, excuse me, this is the Majesty's Cats.
They sing Jellicle for 38 minutes.
That was Jellicle when she comes.
Guys, but like,
call me a Jellicle girl. Call me a Jellicle girl.
God.
Oh, gross.
But it was everything. I think that movie's greatest sin was how boring it was. It was horribly boring.
I mean, it was punctuated by how upsetting it was.
Yeah.
When Rebel Wilson unzipped her full skin, we were all like, we all been checked out for a minute.
But what does that mean? Does that mean that all cats are wearing clothes under their, like, are they naked clothing? But then she got undressed again.
As a plot point.
I know.
The dancing cockroach children is what broke me.
I
What's
fucking
the
hated
logic
that.
of this?
It was awful. But I remember, Alice, you brought like so much booze. Is this a real, like, did we have slushies? Like, I have a memory, or just really big drinks.
We had massive drinks. With Caesars, I remember drinking Caesars. Yeah.
Caesars.
Alice is truly the like Q from the James Bond series of booze. I remember one time me, her, and Scott Lloyd went skating, and then like her glove, she like unscrewed it, and there was whiskey inside. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Listen, Mr. Bond.
Listen,
Mr. Bond. This looks like a normal suitcase, but if you turn the sides, it is a full wet bar. Like it's
just one of those things that a Saint Bernard carries around its neck. That's what Alice
but it's like disguised as like a book bag. Like
I mean, look, guys, it's not my first rodeo, and I knew we had to be pretty drunk to enjoy Cats.
Yeah. Oh, but we also went to the showing.
We also got bored.
Yeah, it was boring, but we went to the showing where we needed to know the one before they fixed it because there were like technical glitches, and we saw like Judi Dench's full human hand with like a ring on it.
Guys, it was Judi Dench turning to camera and at the end of that movie to say cats are not dogs to us, like it meant something.
So long.
Like if we had only heeded her warning, this year wouldn't have happened. Like coronavirus would have, if we had somehow like internalized cats are not dogs, we could have saved ourselves.
Yeah, maybe Cats was the like that's the butterfly wing like flapping. If that was never made, nothing would have. It just was like it was just so like expectedly bad mixed with the unexpected bits you almost were expecting them. But can I say I like Taylor Swift in it?
Can I say Skimbleshanks the Railroad Cat brought heat to a movie that didn't deserve that kind of heat?
Yeah, like why was he sexy?
That was fun. That was maybe the most fun. As opposed to fucking sad boy Mistopheles.
Oh, they made him a fucking cuck. But I was so pissed because Mr. Mistopheles. So I've seen the play, and Mr. Mistopheles, that is bar none, that is the best part of the play. He is the magic cat, and there's fire and blah blah blah. And they somehow made him less special in the movie. They're like, no, turn down the excitement.
Where he was like, maybe I can do a magic to stop the fly.
This is a fucking beta. It made me so mad.
I love the way that you screamed indignant of that. He's the magic cat. We all love him, as if that isn't as equally as absurd as any other part of that movie.
I love knowing VK is discussing cats the way an incel message board would.
Yeah. Oh man! But also, like, what the weirdest part too was that Idris Elba was the most naked cat, even though they were all naked. But he was the most naked.
His coat off, I was like, that's his dick.
That's his dick.
That's his full dick.
His curved oval dick. Anyways, guys, I think we did it.
Yeah.
We made a show. Okay, wait, before you go, I want to know what's like the one thing that you miss from going to the movie theaters most of all?
I miss talking shit with my friends about bad movies. I think that's like a big pastime that we all have. I'm going to see, like, I saw The Snowman with Roger Bainbridge.
Oh.
Like, the first time I saw The Snowman, because I've now seen it twice.
Such affection for that movie I have.
It's so stupid and bad. But Roger and I were so intrigued by the posters that were like, hello, Mr. Police. And then we like read something where it was like, only 80% of the script got shot, so it doesn't make sense. And then we're like, well, we're going to see this movie.
Harry Hole, baby. You name your fucking lead character, Harry Hole. Philippe, what do you miss about going to the movie?
A thing that's disappearing from movies that I absolutely adore and go every chance I get is like the shitty little arcade in the corner. And I fucking love getting drunk for a movie, showing up 20 minutes later, and then just crushing some House of the Dead with a buddy before going in. It's a great time.
Oh, I'm gonna miss. I can't, guys. When this is done, well, me and Alex actually we saw Tenet. We risked COVID to see Tenet.
Was it worth it?
No. And we were just talking about how shameful if we got COVID and then passed that to friends and family to see Tenet because of Tenet. One of the worst. That might be one of the worst movies I've seen in the theaters.
Yeah.
What movie is worth getting COVID? Like, you would be proud if you're like, well, I got COVID scene.
Jackass 2.
No. Jackass 2. Yeah. Some
Jackass
kind
2.5.
of, I don't fucking know. It was terrible. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for doing our pod. Thank you so much, Sonar, for organizing this. The 12 Days of Sonar, it's still going on. They have a couple more days, I imagine, because it hasn't been 12 days yet.
No.
So go to Sonar, listen to all the podcasts, listen to our podcast. It's called Shh, I'm Watching a Movie. We can plug, we have Instagram. It's at Shh, I'm Watching a, I think it's being posted of all the stuff to watch. Please listen. This week we had from Kim's Convenience, Andrea Bang. That came out today. Listen up. Alice, Philippe, Ajonis, Brian, Thank you so much for doing this with us. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Sonar. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.